The smartest people in the room are often the worst investors in the building. Not the least educated. Not the least informed. The smartest. This is the Wealth Code, and today we are going to dismantle something most finance channels are too afraid to say out loud. Stay with me until the end, because there is one finding buried in a landmark study from the University of California that will completely reframe how you think about your own investment decisions. You will not see it coming. In 2000, a fund manager named Bill Miller had beaten the S&P 500 for 15 consecutive years. 15. That is statistically near impossible. The financial press called him the greatest investor of his generation. Harvard MBA graduates lined up to study his methods. His fund attracted billions. Then the 2008 financial crisis hit, and Legg Mason Value Trust lost 55% of its value. In a single year. Bill Miller, the genius, had loaded up on Bear Stearns, Freddie Mac, and Citigroup, all the way down. He was not stupid. He was not reckless. He was brilliant. And that was exactly the problem. High intelligence does not protect you from bad investment decisions. In many cases, it makes them worse. Because the smarter you are, the better you are at constructing convincing stories that justify whatever you already believe. You do not find the truth. You build a case. And your brain rewards you for it. Most financial education teaches you what to buy. Nobody teaches you what your own mind will do to destroy it. Let us start with recency bias, the cognitive distortion that causes your brain to treat recent events as permanent trends. In 1974, psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky published their landmark paper on heuristics and biases. They demonstrated that human beings systematically overweight information that is recent, vivid, and emotionally charged, regardless of its actual statistical significance. In markets, this looks like buying tech stocks in late 1999 because they have been rising for 3 years. It looks like panic selling in March 2020, right before one of the fastest recoveries in stock market history. Then there is confirmation bias. And this one is brutal. A 2010 study published in the Journal of Financial Economics found that investors who described themselves as highly knowledgeable were significantly more likely to seek out information that confirmed their existing positions, and dismiss contradicting data as noise. The more you know, the more ammunition you have to protect a wrong belief. Now layer on herd behavior. Robert Shiller, Nobel Prize winner in economics, documented in his book Irrational Exuberance how intelligent, informed investors repeatedly pile into overvalued assets not because they believe the fundamentals, but because they fear being wrong alone. There is a specific terror in watching everyone else make money while you sit on the sidelines. That terror overrides analysis every single time. And finally, loss aversion. Kahneman showed that the pain of losing $100 is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining $100. So what do intelligent investors do? They hold losing positions too long, rationalizing, recalculating, convincing themselves the thesis is still intact. And they sell winning positions too early, locking in the good feeling before the market can take it back. Your IQ is not your edge. Your IQ is the weapon your emotions use against you. Here is something worth sitting with: the financial system is not designed to help you invest well. It is designed to keep you active. Every trade on a brokerage platform generates a fee or spread. Every click on a financial news app sells an impression. CNBC, Bloomberg, Financial Twitter, their business model is your anxiety. A calm, patient investor who checks their portfolio twice a year is worthless to them. Goldman Sachs, JPMorgan, Fidelity, these institutions employ the smartest mathematicians and psychologists in the world. Not to help you build wealth. To engineer platforms and products that trigger the exact cognitive biases we just discussed. The quarterly earnings cycle was never designed for retail investors. It was designed to create constant narrative churn, something to react to every 90 days. Something to trade around. And the financial media amplifies every tremor into an earthquake, because calm does not sell advertising. The uncomfortable truth is this: the system profits most when you believe that doing more is the same as doing better. It is not. Retention peak. But here is the part that will actually change how you see money. A study by Brad Barber and Terence Odean at the University of California, published in the Journal of Finance in 2000, tracked the actual trading behavior of 66,000 households over 7 years. Their finding was devastating in its simplicity. The households that traded the most frequently underperformed the market by 6.5 percentage points per year. The households that traded the least, who did almost nothing, outperformed nearly everyone. But here is the detail that never gets talked about. The heaviest traders were not the least educated investors. They were the most confident ones. They were the people who felt they understood the market well enough to act on it. The intelligence was real. The confidence was earned. And it destroyed their returns anyway. Because in investing, activity feels like competence, but it is almost always the opposite. The financial industry has spent billions conditioning you to believe that managing your money means moving your money. The single most counterintuitive skill in wealth building is the ability to do nothing, intelligently, deliberately, and without flinching, while everyone around you is reacting. That is not passivity. That is the hardest discipline in finance. The genuinely wealthy, and I am not talking about high earners, I am talking about multi-generational wealth builders, they do not have better information. They have better filters. First, they create deliberate friction before any investment decision. Warren Buffett famously does not own a smartphone. Charlie Munger kept his office intentionally sparse. The friction is the point. It forces a pause between impulse and action, and in that pause, most bad decisions die quietly. Second, they separate the story from the position. When a wealthy investor holds a stock, they do not ask, "Is my analysis right?" They ask, "What would have to be true for me to be completely wrong?" That inversion, that willingness to prosecute their own thesis, is a cognitive habit that most retail investors never develop. Third, they define exit before entry. Before the money goes in, they already know the conditions under which it comes out. Not a feeling. Not a target price. Specific conditions. This removes the emotional renegotiation that destroys most portfolios, the moment where falling prices become a reason to hold rather than a reason to exit. Fourth, they track their decision process, not just their outcomes. A bad decision that made money is still a bad decision. A good decision that lost money is still a good decision. Wealthy investors know the difference, because they wrote it down. They audit their thinking, not just their portfolio. 1. Implement a 72-hour rule on every investment decision above a threshold you define. Write down your thesis in full sentences, not bullet points, full sentences, and read it back 3 days later. If it still holds, act. Most ideas will not survive their own writing. 2. Build a contradictions file. For every investment you hold, maintain a running document of the best arguments against it. Not to sell, to stay honest. When the people who disagree with you start making points you cannot answer, that is signal. 3. Audit your information sources. List every financial news source, account, or podcast you consume in a week. Now ask, does this source profit when I trade more? If yes, you are not consuming information. You are consuming activation. Cut it or quarantine it. 4. Measure your decision quality separately from your returns. After every investment decision, win or loss, score the process you used from 1 to 10 before you know the outcome. Over 12 months, your process score will predict your long-term returns far more accurately than any individual result will. The investor who masters their psychology will always outperform the investor who masters the market, because the market is the psychology. Your brain is not your enemy, but it is not automatically your ally either. It needs structure, friction, and honest auditing if it is going to work for you in markets that are specifically designed to exploit it. The edge in modern investing is not information. It is not intelligence. It is the rare and deeply uncomfortable ability to recognize your own cognitive patterns before they cost you. If this shifted something for you, subscribe, because tomorrow we go even deeper. Next, watch our video on why most people's net worth plateaus at the same number for years, and the one psychological mechanism that explains almost all of it. This is the wealth code.